Zelensky as well as Netanyahu are just.
To understand the bigger picture, Israel had to take over the United States so that it could attack Russia and China to take over the world. So Ukraine was just a phony nation for the sole purpose of attacking the Russians to quote unquote weaken Russia for Israel, basically. So Israel essentially runs the United States and Ukraine, and they're trying to take over the world kinetically by force, by using the Americans as war fodder, by taking over their politicians. So all of DC is considered compromised in Generation X. We call the former US government the USI, the United States of Israel. This is actually 12 years after America ended in Gen X. The boomers are actually two nations behind the historical timeline. In the real timeline, Cascadia ended. There was a new country on the West Coast from California to Alaska. And in 2020, I made it a one nation continent called Amaxa. Uh, the majority actually wanted the smartest to be their leader. 12 years ago, we found any group at random will vote. They'd prefer the smartest lead. And I volunteered since Americans never understood the right to life from the Declaration of Independence, which is really the key to all this. Presidents and anyone representing the US government is supposed to understand and uphold your right to life. So, what is Trump doing attacking other nations, just like presidents before him ever since JFK got shot? You can see the US is not behaving as it should. So, this is why I fired Trump and Hegseth for 2381 treason, aiding the enemy. You're not supposed to aid Israel after JFK, after they attacked the USS Liberty, after 9/11. No, you're not supposed to give the enemy billions and billions of dollars, right? So I'm going to fire the president as the acting five-star dad and draft a new one that I would trust as your last new US president. I drafted Ron Paul since he understood proper US foreign policy in the silent generation, essentially that it's wrong to kill. He understood that the US isn't supposed to be occupying the Middle East and attacking all these nations. So people like Pete Hegseth are inept. He doesn't know not to overextend with the U.S. Navy. I don't want the U.S. Navy past Midway in the ocean because that invites all nations to attack it. Okay? So just by being in the Middle East, the Navy's vulnerable to attack. And they're just oblivious to the fact. Just like crossing Midway in Pearl Harbor, if you make that massive buildup in Hawaii, you're just begging to get attacked. And that was the whole idea behind Pearl Harbor. Make a buildup so massive that you do get attacked so you can have an excuse to nuke Japan, right? So that's how the boomers play. They play these dirty games. No, you're not supposed to do a first strike, right? You're not supposed to attack Iran with the first strike. They get to defend themselves according to international law, and everybody knows it. But Israel feels that they have the entire world by the balls because they have their space lasers or something and they can roast the whole world with arson to intimidate you. See, Israel likes to rule by intimidation. They will blow somebody away to intimidate you. like JFK, like Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk is just another JFK, right? Israel wants to intimidate the American people to say that your First Amendment and your freedom of speech no longer matters now that they run the show. So, does Israel really run the show? No, they don't. I lead the entire continent here in Amexa, and that will continue to be the case. I lead the First World Army because of the type of government we have. It's ruled by the smartest. That's what the majority actually wants. Worldwide, if I'm smarter than every national leader, you can see why they had a phony pandemic to retain their national continuity worldwide. All the boomers want to keep their power in the face of a new, better government. Hey, look, I can lead with words alone. I'm so smart. I can beat all your phony leaders with words. Now they're up shit creek and all they have is censorship and subversion and intimidating force. Okay? So none of these people who have soldiers that and they bomb other nations, they don't really have power anymore. They're losing their power. Every time they bomb somebody, they lose their power, actually. They expose themselves that they're phony leaders. Okay? Because the first guy to lead every military is going to tell you the truth that only cowards fight with weapons and bombs. So, the leading sociologist today in the new Nocratic government, I will fire national leaders. Okay, I fired Trump. I fired Netanyahu. I fired Zelensky. I asked them all to resign as first to lead the world army. As I would with any rogue national leader who attacks other nations. Okay, we're supposed to boycott rogue nations internationally, boycott Israel for attacking all these nations. Okay, for taking over the US government like this. Okay, no, you're not supposed to bomb Lebanon and bomb Iran. You're not supposed to bomb the seven nations that General Wesley Clark talked about. You're not supposed to topple those seven nations for foreign power by US standards. That's treason. Okay? So I fired all of DC for treason and drafted your last US president for educational purposes, now that it's a one nation continent, for a smooth transition to the new government here in Amaxa. Welcome to Amaxa, everybody. The boomers have been subverting the new government and the idiocracy itself, as nobody likes somebody smarter than them unless they have a student mentality. You're not going to like your new government if I'm smarter than you, if I'm smarter than every national leader. You can see why they wanted to have their phony pandemic. They don't like the fact that they're losing their power worldwide just because it's with knowledge comes power, right? Are they intelligent? Are they smarter than the world's smartest man in their country? No, they're not. And that's embarrassing. So everyone all around the world has what's called social anxiety disorder. They're afraid to talk to me, their new government, the last 12 years, because I'm smarter than them, and that's embarrassing. They have intellectophobia. All Americans are scared, they're too chicken to talk to their new government the last 12 years. They would rather have Donald Trump run the show than to admit that I'm their real government.